All right, guys, it is what? Oh my God. It's December 10th, and this is our Team Liberate call. Thank you so much for being here and for taking the time to, to dedicate to your business and dedicate to the team and, hear from our awesome guest speaker tonight. Her name is Jessica. Is it Gentry or Gentry? Gentry? Yeah. Okay. Well, you can clarify when you hop on. But I just wanted to introduce her real quick, and then I'll just hand it over to her. Jessica and I connected in it's like in a push to elite type group for coaches who are going for premier and elite in the Northeast. And so we kind of just connected there. I've been, kind of trying to reach out to some new people just to get some new faces and perspectives on our calls. I just think it's really, really helpful for all of us. Myself included. And so Jessica and I decided we were going to kind of swap calls for one another. So I just wanted to give her a brief introduction. She was just saying how she is a mom. She's a 6-year-old. Her and I didn't even know it at first either, but we both have kindergarten teaching in common. She is a 12th year teacher as a kindergarten teacher. And you guys know me, I was teaching kindergarten for 6 years. So that's kind of really cool. She's a diamond coach. She's pushing for 1-star. 7. I don't know what you meant by this. 7 to 10 emerald coaches. I don't know if 7 was a typo. 10 emerald coaches. Not sure. Success Club 5 All-Star Legend, which means that she has hit Success Club 5 or above for 24 months consecutively, which is a huge accomplishment. And a Success Club 10 All-Star, which means Success Club 10 or above for 12 months consecutively. And coaching since 2014. And she's going to talk to us about consistency and, treating this business like a business and showing up no matter what. So Jessica, I'll let you kind of take it over. And I don't think I was recording it. Jessica was just saying how she just kind of threw it in there that she was in the Transform 20 coach test group. So I definitely want to hear a little bit about that if we have time.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thanks, Brooke. So it is Gentry. And the 7 to 10, the 7 was a typo. I've got 10 Emerald coaches and one who is super close to Diamond. So I've been coaching since 2014, and I came into the business really not knowing anything about the business, which I'm sure some of you can relate to. I was struggling with postpartum depression really bad and just needed something other than mom and teacher. And so started helping coworkers, and here I am almost 5 years later. So something that is near and dear to me is showing up, like no matter what, for your business and your followers. I have a 6-year-old. About a year and a half after coaching, I went through a divorce. And so my business took me through that season. Following my divorce, I went through a super emotionally abusive relationship. Coaching literally helps me survive that situation. And then just teaching and needing that stress, release and output. Coaching has seriously kept me going through a lot of things in my life. And so showing up for that has always been something that I've been really passionate about. And so I have got a couple of tips. And number 3, I'm going to try not to stay on that one for very long, but it's such an important part of what's happened to me in the last year. So if I start to get long-winded, be like, whoa, girl, we got it. So something that, when I talk to my own coaches about consistency, it's finding your non-negotiables. So we've all seen trackers, and things like that, identifying the things that are non-negotiables. And for me, and I just personally think it should be for everyone who's coaching, it has to be your journey. Had I stopped showing up in my journey, my workouts, my personal development, my Shakeology, my nutrition during the 16-month emotionally abusive relationships that I was in, I'd probably still be in that relationship. That is really what saved me, honestly. And so when it comes to coaching, if you're not doing the things for yourself, if you're not showing up in your journey, it's going to come off as icky and inauthentic and salesy when you go to share things. So just those non-negotiables, that has to be first and foremost. That's kind of why we're all here. And so that is something that I do not go to bed regardless of the day. Unless like last week, I got Kinder Cooties and I did kind of go on bod. I stepped away from Transform 20. I was in week 5. I stepped away from that and I found something that was lower impact to kind of get me through the week and like allow myself the grace of being sick, but also share about that because that's what people want to hear. Like you're real, it happened. So that's like a big part of your consistency is showing up when those things happen and then letting your followers know how you dealt with it. So I mentioned trackers. I think they are hugely important too. I can share a couple that I use. I've created daily ones for my team. I'm a more weekly person, so I know that by Sunday's end, I need to check off all those boxes. That's just motivating for me. Maybe it's the teacher in me. Crossing off workouts was really motivating in the beginning of my journey, and now checking off my boxes is super important. So finding a tracker that really illuminates and highlights the things that you deem important in your business. And then checking off the ones that you don't want to do first. I start my day with inviting because that's not my favorite thing to do. Like my dad was a car salesman and I'm always like, I don't want to be like that. And so I always start my day with that because it's the thing that I know I will put off if I don't do it first. So number 3, about a year ago, I was like 3.5 years into the business and I started feeling like everything I was sharing was like the same thing I shared before. And I was running out of like just fire. Like I'd almost felt like, gosh, is this really what I'm going to leave my teaching career to do? And like, you know, there's peaks and valleys and everything. And I really found myself in like questioning, why am I doing this? What value am I giving people? Like just kind of burnt. And I didn't want to be there. And so 2 of my upline mentors hosted a webinar called Finding Your Joy. And I was like, okay, like I drug my heels for 2 years of coaching on personal development. Like this is going to be some kind of hokey thing they want us to do, but I'm going to show up to the call because I'm a teacher and we do what we're supposed to do. And it was powerful. So if you're finding yourself in that season where you're feeling like, I don't know what to post, I'm tired, you know, no one wants to see my sweaty selfies. Like, what else can I do to show up for my following? It's finding your joy. And so this is what it is. It's finding that thing about you, whether it be a hardship that you've gone through, something you've triumphed through, that even if Beachbody didn't exist, you would still share with people. Even if you didn't get paid for it, it would still be something that you could impart value to people that follow you, regardless of them joining with you. So for me, given the background that I just shared with you all, the first thing that came to mind was postpartum depression because I battled that and was deep into that when Beachbody was introduced to me. So that came to mind at first. And then when I started really thinking, I was like, gosh, Jess, your entire life has been one bad relationship after another until now, thank goodness. And so that's kind of where my joy was kind of reborn. So my platform has now been built around unhealthy relationships, identifying what those look like, and then imparting advice to others of, you know, what it looks like, how to overcome it, the warning signs, and things like that. So it could be fitness related. It could be mom life related. It could be exiting, the corporate job. Like it could be anything that you have kind of struggled with, and you've got to dig into that vulnerability. But that completely changed the course of my business about a year ago, and my team entered the year from that different push, that different focus, pushing for elite. So that's how Brooke and I connected when we got into that group together, because I took where I was, that low in the end of November, and really reconfigured my business behind that different avenue. So now I connect with women who can relate to that, and they organically join me because they trust me through that other platform. Because we have been given the gift of reaching people. And it doesn't have to just be health and fitness. They will come to you because of the relationships that you build with them in other ways too. And so I'll move on from that one, but that's just like really dear to me because it really did change my business when I started to think about how to share value from my life and what I've been through with my following. So another thing with being consistent is accountability. We all know that's important with our challenge groups and things like that. Find a partner, find a success partner. That's something that I also was hard-headed and fought for the longest time. But find that person, and it can't be someone that you're super comfortable with. And I know that probably sounds weird, but if you are with someone that you're afraid to give constructive feedback to, or you're afraid you're going to hurt their feelings and damage a relationship, that's not going to be a meaningful success partner relationship. Find someone who vibes a little bit different than you, who their joy in the business is in a different area. Find someone who really rocks Instagram, which is what I had to find because that's not my thing. If it's not, Instagram wasn't mine, Facebook wasn't hers, and so when we join together, it kind of takes the work out of it when you find someone to vibe with and work with who has got strengths that you don't necessarily identify as your own. But that's super important, and find the time to connect and share those goals. And then duplicate what you're doing. Last year, I found myself burnout. And when I really sat down and thought about it, it was because every single month I felt like I was scrambling. I didn't have things in place to just make every single month kind of feel the same way. So what I have done in my business to stay consistent is I've taken out the need for every single Sunday night to think about what I'm going to post in my challenge groups for 7 days. I went into Word Swag, super simple, went into Word Swag, and I made 7 days of 5 weeks so 35 different check-in posts. And I just use those over and over and over and over again for every single group that I run. They're all themed, so 1 week will have like the same little background, but they're basically the same. They ask, sweaty selfies. They ask personal development takeaways, to share a photo of their nutrition, and then every single one ask them to rate their Shakeology, their nutrition, their workout for the day. And so I don't feel like I'm constantly scrambling trying to figure out how to get my girls engaged in the group. I run my sneak peek on the same week every single month, and so I have that plan in place. Record your videos for your sneak peek and then save them to YouTube, and so you don't feel like you're having to constantly recreate the wheel every single month. Because I found myself in that hamster wheel of working a full-time job, being a mom, and then trying to figure out how to make this work. Yes, and then share those with each other. Like you could each within this team call, take a week of graphics and make those, and then the work is done. I cut off commenting or posting within my groups, and so they can only comment under those graphics. And so the engagement has really been boosted because they're notified when someone else comments, and so they're engaging with one another more. But my calendar literally looks the same. My Emerald in 24 hours call is the first Monday. My sneak peek into coaching is the second week of the month. And then the following Monday, I host a Getting Started Right call. And so my team knows to expect that all the time. And so when you onboard, you don't feel like you're having to constantly reinvent every single month. And so you can spend more of your time finding your joy, connecting with your followers without that fear of what am I going to do when someone signs up with me? You already know it's ready to go. And saving all of your prep week stuff to YouTube. So making it duplicatable and easy to pull. But first and foremost, you have to show up with your own journey. It has to be a non-negotiable. And that's kind of where my success has kind of come from. Your business is only gonna be as successful as your fitness journey, and vice versa. They are so nicely paired if you make them pair that way. Um, so that's kind of the 5 that I have. But so let's talk about Transform 20, if that's okay. So the unintended topic, but I'm kind of even more pumped to talk about that. So I started in 2014 with T25, 55 pounds overweight, like postpartum depression. So Sean T is my hero. I got to meet him for the photo op in Indy this summer. And that's when they announced that they were going to do the test group a little bit differently, that it was going to be earned by Success Club points. And so I hustled like I've never hustled before in my life. And I wasn't sure because within the group, Brooke, I think it was our group, they had a thread that was like, how many points do you have? How many points do you have? And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I have enough points. So when I got the email that I was accepted, I remember I was standing in the driveway and I was like, holy cow, what did I just get accepted to? And I remember watching the trailer and I was like, wait, I've been doing Lift 4 with weights for this entire summer. I cannot go back to cardio. And my boyfriend was like, oh, you're going to go back to cardio and you're going to freaking love it. Sean T. Um, so yeah, so I know a couple of the girls that run the group, they were like, we had to learn to love it. Like we really turned into weightlifting girls, like all of that. But he is, I can't even tell you. If you've done T25 or in Sandy Max 30 or Sean Week or any of his workouts, um, he is so special in the fact that the things that he says during the workouts are always like you feel like he's talking to you. Like in the middle of like a move, you're like, yep, I'm done. I'm not doing that anymore. He immediately says exactly what you need to hear. Um, and everything's really fast. It's set to, so it's 20 minutes. Of course, that's super fast. Most of the moves are 30 seconds and he will count you out the last 8 seconds. And so it's really 22 seconds of like really suck. And then he starts counting you down. So you know there's an end. And it's amazing. You're never holding, like it's not the lunge squat progression from T25 that made me want to scream. You never feel like, gosh, you've got it. Like I have to stop doing this. So everyone who's worried about going from weights to cardio, you don't have to worry about that. You're going to be doing push-ups and planks and things like that. But the elevation of the step, this is interesting. For those of you who may follow the modifier, Olivia, without a step, have your step handy for the burpees and the planks because there's something about the elevation that makes a burpee easier. So if you're modifying, you don't use the step, you are actually, giving yourself more work. So just an insider tip. The elevation helps with the burpees. And then so those of you who've gotten your step, go ahead and take all those risers off because I made the mistake the first day. I was going to be like, I was going to go after it. And 5 minutes into it, I was like, oh no, I got to take this step off of this riser. So I tried to take it off. It pinched my skin. I had a bruise for like 8 weeks. Like, don't just go ahead and take it off. Add it in the middle. Don't try to take it off in the middle. So I had a huge bruise on my thigh. But anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. And then there's bonus workouts that he added. The first 6 weeks, we didn't have the weight workouts. It was just strictly the cardio. And I lost 1.5 pounds, but 3.5 inches off my waist, which I thought at this point was impossible. 6.5 total in those 6 weeks. And then he added the weights in the second round. So I'm on week 5 with the added weight workouts, and they're the same way. You are doing cardio-esque moves, but you're never like you're not counting like in Lift 4, like you're not counting reps. You are moving, you're active while you're doing it, so it never feels like death. So it's fast. It can be intense, but you're never stuck feeling like it's never going to end. I don't know how else to explain it. It's really cool, and he's really awesome. And the talks at the end, when you're doing your cool down, don't skip those, because that's the content in those are huge. He shares his before photo, which was eye-opening, and a story that I didn't even realize until then, which made me go out and get T's for transformation and read it, to hear his transformation story. So I would recommend reading that at the same time as doing Transform 20 for sure, because you get to know him on a different level. What else? I don't know. What questions do you guys have about Transform 20?
What is the book called? T is for
Transformation.
transformation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's his book.
Yeah, no, I know that. That's a good tip though, like to give people ahead of time. So like when we start in January, like everybody can plan to read it at the same time. That's a really good idea.
And it's on Audible too. That's the only way I do my PD.
Sweet. That's awesome. How was it to be in a test group? I just want to be in a test group.
So it was great because there were only I think there were 200 of us. And his whole team is just amazing. So they'll be in the group too. So this is kind of what happened. Corporate told us, this was my first test group. Corporate told us that we couldn't post anything for the first 5.5 weeks, which I heard was not normal. But they wanted to give Chris Downing and Shift Shop, the Proving Grounds, a chance to kind of do its thing, so we couldn't post. And so Sean realized how much of a disadvantage that actually was to the test group participants, because we couldn't share authentically. Like, we had to all share old clips to our IG stories, which was really weird.
Yeah.
So when corporate closed our 6-week test group, Sean opened up his own for us for the second 6 weeks, and his team ran. So when you guys are sharing the opportunity to be in the beta group with him, the January test group, know that Autumn was great in hers. Joel was even a little bit better, in my opinion, in his. Sean's going to bring it. He goes live all the time with silly stuff, serious stuff. He went live one night at midnight and showed Scott sneaking watermelon out of the refrigerator, which was hilarious. So you're going to get him. This is his baby, and he is super passionate about it. Chip is one of his assistants. Chip is super active in the group. They're all just amazing. So the value behind becoming a coach to be in that group, you can't put a price on it.
Yeah, that's true. So
yeah, super excited for everyone to try it. I feel like this isn't my baby, but I kind of feel like it is.
Yeah. That's so exciting. That's so cool. I would love to be in a test group.
Yes, it was definitely a goal. I definitely pushed really hard for that. So
yeah. Did you follow the containers?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I ate the so if you guys have gotten your things, the 2-bean vegetarian chili, I've eaten that for probably 13 straight weeks for lunch, no lie. I put ground turkey in it, and it's been find what works and stick with it.
Did you find that the same container bracket is worked for you in terms of burning so many calories?
And for 80-day obsession, I was in C or D, I can't remember. And then lift 4, I went down to B. And for this one, it's by weight. I believe it's by weight. Yes. And so I was in A, and I will not lie, I've added extra purples in there because
A is not enough food.
Right.
I think it's tough. It's really tough for me anyway.
Yeah, so I added purples and the occasional carb in there, and still did fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Sunday is the rest day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so there are things in there called transformers. And so this is what makes it different than any of his other programs, is that in the 20 minutes you have 3 transformers, and he will recover you for 30 seconds while he introduces what the transformers are. And so for Mondays are burn days. So for all 6 Mondays, the only thing that stays the same in those 6 Mondays are the 3 transformers. And so what you'll do is you'll do that move for a minute and count your reps and then record it for all 3. And then the following Monday, you're trying to beat your own numbers. He really focuses on competing against you and no one else. He was really big about that in the challenge and in the coach test group. Anytime he got any hint that we were comparing, he like shut it down.
That's awesome. I love that.
So yeah, and those are in all of the workouts except for the bonus ones. The 10-minute abs, the 10-minute cardio, the 10-minute booty, and the 10-minute recover, I think is the other one. They're in all of them except for those.
Are those like bonus considered like bonus, or are they?
Mm-hmm.
They're okay.
Yeah, on your tracker, the journal tracker, it'll ask you which workout you did and if you did a bonus. I didn't do those very often, to be honest with you. Like I followed the 20 minutes strictly, and didn't have to add anything extra into it. I didn't go and do lift 4 because I was afraid I was missing out on weights or anything like that. I didn't run. I didn't do anything extra.
Yeah.
So it's not necessary. So when you tell, your followers that it's 20 minutes and that's all you need, like it's legit. Mm-hmm.
Did your boyfriend do it at all with you?
He did not. He's training for a pretty intense government-esque job. I think I can say that on here. So he had a pretty strict hours-long workout that he did. But I did order an extra step that he doesn't know about yet. So
can you order just the Beachbody extra step?
No, I did the whole package. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, because my husband and I work out together, so I'm going to have to get him like an Amazon one or something, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is one of my girls sent me today. It's the exact measurements except for it's missing the second set of risers.
Yeah, one of the girls on our team found one that's like, and she put it like she got one for her husband, she put them next to each other, they look like identical.
Yeah, it's just that second riser I think is not there.
Yeah. Cool. Do you guys have any questions? You guys have been quiet. Yeah, Danielle, I put the risers on too.
Yeah.
Is the idea that the more risers you add, the harder it gets. Does he encourage you to add that whenever you want, or does he?
I feel like, I'm trying to remember. I feel like at the end of week 4, somewhere in week 4, he tells you to go ahead and try it. Mm-hmm. And then there are certain workouts where he'll tell you to take them off. I don't take them off because I had a bad experience. So I am stuck where I am until I add that. Like I've only added one set so far.
Okay, it's good to know. Yeah, I did it the other day, but I only just took it out of the package just to post about it, so I haven't really looked at it yet.
Yeah, and they store up underneath. So for stability, I would store the other 2. Yeah, I would store them underneath for the stability.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really neat. Cool. I'm so excited. Are you running like an exclusive group for your people in January?
Yeah.
So would be the best day to start, January 14th, right? Because it comes, I think prep is the 7th. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So they'll release it the same way that they did Lift 4, 1 week at a time.
Okay. Makes sense. And
the only thing that I haven't seen yet that they weren't recorded for the test group are the Sunday chats with Sean.
Oh, okay.
I think they've released one on BOD, like the intro, like learning the cast and crew. I think that one's available, but we haven't seen any others yet.
So what is the workout that's available now? Is that like the first workout, or is that like a separate sneak workout? Okay.
I think it's sneak peek. I was trying to look because I couldn't find it at first. And then his team was trying to share it, and then the link was broken for a little bit. I think it's good to go now. There's the one that he did live the day of the launch that's on his Facebook page that you can share too.
Mm-hmm.
That one's totally different. That was just him, I think, messing around.
Okay.
But then one that's on BOD, I'd have to look and see if that's like a legit one from the workout or not.
Yeah. Just curious.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we haven't seen the ones that they're releasing tomorrow. We haven't seen in the test group either.
No?
Mm-mm.
That's cool.
No, not that I know of.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Those are the preview ones. So as of tomorrow, there'll be 3 available?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then plus the live one that he did on his page. That one's available too.
There's one out today, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's one out now, and then she said there's 2 more tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah.
The Fit Commercial was today. And then there's Transform 10 and Transform 15, I think, that they're releasing tomorrow.
Okay. That's so exciting.
Yes.
I love new programs.
Yeah, so definitely, if you haven't gotten it, like it is definitely worth the investment for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most of us are definitely on board.
Perfect.
Yeah, all the new product, like the new program launches are so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of like test it out and kind of just do it new together is kind of fun,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, there's nothing like doing it for the first time. Like you can't recreate that. So
Yeah. Do you think being in that group like really helps you with your business?
well, so October was really hard for me, but I think it was because they made us be so quiet. Like we couldn't say anything.
Yeah, that's hard.
We could post like the very first picture where I put all my risers on and stood on it thinking I'm going to use all these. We could post the like woohoo, we got into the group picture. Then after that, it was hush for 6 weeks, which don't let that deter you from being in a test group. Apparently it's never like that. But I think Chris has kind of gotten the short end of the stick every time he's released one of his programs. So I think they were trying to give him an equal playing field. But yeah, but definitely now that
you can allude to that you were in any sort of a group doing any sort of a program, because Ashley and Kate definitely did.
we could say things like, the workout that I can't talk about. Like we could say stuff like that.
Really?
But yeah.
Do you know like Ashley Dyson
Mm-mm.
and Kate Morgan? No, I feel like
Yeah, Kate Morgan. Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's on our team. I feel like they posted about it. Not like a ton, but like enough. Maybe it was more recently, and I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, they let us start sharing November 1st. It was like a weird like middle of the week. Yeah, so we've had about a month that we could share about it.
Got it. Yes, it must have been hard.
Yeah, it was.
Doing it,
yeah.
but not doing it.
Yeah, it kind of it kind of fits into kind of what I was thinking about, like finding your joy and like being authentic, like
because that's what's authentic at the moment.
Yes, and it was really hard to not share and to share old clips. Like that felt really weird.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's awesome to know. I know where to go if we have any questions. But yeah, I think that's it. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. I know life is busy being a mom and a teacher, and it's crazy. So what are you doing to make this be your last year teaching?
Well, I have some pretty big quarterly goals.
Yeah.
I've honed in who my 2019 diamonds will be.
Mm-hmm.
They may or may not know yet, but they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my goal is to really focus on elite from like day one, like January 1st. It's on.
Yes, I had the premier or bust goal. I am not ashamed to admit that I did not hit that goal, but that is okay.
That's okay. Goals are meant to stretch you.
Yes, exactly. Don't be afraid to set those.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've matched my teaching income, not consistently yet, but that's the next goal, is to consistently show myself that I can hit it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Perfect. Yeah, I was done. I took a really long leave of absence and then I didn't go back.
Yeah, I thought about doing like a sabbatical and see what happens, but
Would you feel like open talking about that, like in posts and stuff?
oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I talk about it.
Yeah, I did too. Because I knew I wasn't going back, so
Yep.
it didn't hold me back.
Yeah, because it's not about hating your job. It's just hating how you come home and you have nothing left.
Yeah, and I think life changes, and when I started teaching, I wasn't a mom yet, and then I became a mom, and like life just kind of shifts.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, let's keep in touch. Thank you so much again for taking the time to chat with us. And
Yeah, and I can share any of the graphics.
Yeah, the BATs you have. That would be awesome.
Okay.
I'd love that. Yeah. Shoot me a message with those. That would be great. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Talk to you later.